We do go into international break a point behind Arsenal. But, you know, Bournemouth at home, first game of the season, Bournemouth are a top team. Yeah. We had to go to Newcastle away. That game was crazy for obvious reasons with the whole league stack thing. We played Arsenal at home, beating them. We had to go to Chelsea. We had to go to Crystal Palace. We had the Merseyside derby. So, I mean, those games, they're quite a tough set of opening fixtures, aren't they?
The tough fixtures, but again, like I didn't know what I was listening to on Sky when I'm hearing Gary Neville saying it's a swing weekend. 6 games played.
Yeah, it feels early for it to be a swing weekend, doesn't it?
You say it's a swing
forced narrative, doesn't it?
It's this forced narrative, and then it's just like we get stick. You know, these Scousers playing the violin again. It's the 6th game, and you call it a swing weekend.
Yeah,
we've had quite a tough start anyway. And this weekend, when Arsenal got the last-minute winner, I could hear Neville again, absolutely buzzing and delighted. I said last weekend was a swing weekend. Now this is like, and the minute we lose, it's the same thing. Like the league's finished.
You haven't got a friend in Paul Smith.
You Gaz not mates, so you're not.
I don't mind.
Does he not get invited to your boxing fights?
I don't mind him whatsoever.
You prefer Jamie, yeah?
Yeah, I prefer Jamie. I was trying to set up a fight with them both for charity and trying to get Jamie to actually.
That'd have been good to raise money for charity. By the way, look, backing Carragher in that one.
I respect him massively for what he's done, but like the commentary, like come on, you know, like it's obviously no secret you're a Man United fan, and you're a fan of whoever's playing Liverpool and Man United, obviously, but like it's 6-7 games in. There's still plenty to go in this league.
Lots of football
plenty.
The only thing I would say about that tough start, you know, just giving the counterbalance for a second, and why there will be probably little sympathy for that from opposition supporters is you have brought in, you know, Florian Wirtz, you've brought in Alexander Isak, you've brought in Hugo Ekitike. The concern I have with Slot is when he talks about small margins, because I can see exactly what he's saying. You know, Salah's played in beautifully by Wirtz at the start of the second half against Chelsea. If he buries that, it's a completely different game. That second half.
And Salah of last season, by the way.
And Salah of last season would do that.
I think with his left foot, he just bends out into the far corner. He's snatching at it, isn't he, a little bit, Salah?
He snatched it, that's so... You know, if he scores
and what a ball, by the way, from Wirtz.
Oh, it was brilliant.
The flick, the turn was remarkable.
That was brilliant. So I can see why he says the small margins. But when you bring in that level of talent, you know, you're almost hedging your bets that you've got far more to overpower other opposition. And I look at the Chelsea game, it probably was an opportunity mix because they had 6 centre-halves out. You know, before the game, without Fofana, Colwill, Chalobah, Tosin. Thanks for that. I was like, where's my list going here? And
long list, mate, isn't it?
And then they lose Barry Ashiel, and they lose the young lad Josh Achempo.
Also, I thought it was quite ironic, though. They were still able to bring on a £35 million defender in Hato. So I was that's the other choice centre-backs. Like, not a 16, it's a £35 million defender.
Crazy depth, absolutely. And, you know, in the game state, you know, but I think Liverpool of last year, and maybe this Liverpool will get to that point in a couple of months' time, but the Liverpool of last year would have smelled blood at that point and thought, there's something to be had here. If that team was more settled and they weren't thinking more that way and they were thinking more that way, which feels at the moment they're always thinking more that way, then that team would have pounced and capitalised and really would have hurt Chelsea in the final 20 minutes. But they didn't. They were playing on the counter, and I think they just got swept away by the whole occasion, which was just, honestly, the bridge. Brilliant game of football, but just frenetic.
Possibly with the Andy Robertson of, you know, I think has been the best left-back in the Premier League for a good 4 or 5 year period. Do you think maybe the Robertson of kind of season before last maybe deals with that a bit better? He's maybe a little bit more alert to what's going on, sees that ball. I thought maybe he was caught out a little bit. Again, it probably wasn't easy coming by. Word on the goalkeeper as well. I thought the 2 goals, he couldn't have done anything about it. But I thought what impressed me with Mamardashvili, balls into the box. You often see goalkeepers come from abroad and they struggle physically, don't they, with balls into the box. But I thought he commanded his area really well. And I thought that was a real positive sign. Yeah,
I thought he'd done well. With Liverpool, we've been lucky a little bit in the last 5, 6, 7 years maybe that the sub-keepers are good.
Keller was outstanding, wasn't he?
Keller was brilliant, and Mamardashvili is looking really good as well.
So quite unlucky though, aren't we? Haven't you known a goalkeeper to get injured as often?
Ultimately, that's
why he seems to be injured.
He's picking up a few, isn't he? Yeah,
it's
a few seasons.
That's probably why you've got someone of the quality of Mamardashvili in the
because he's going to play up a dozen times this season, probably, isn't he?
They're going to need him a few more times. I mean, just to build on that, the only thing I would say about Mamardashvili in the first 20 minutes, it's about setting the tone. And he was jittery. And when he got the ball, he'd be quick to get it off his feet because Chelsea were pressing him so intensely because they recognised that, he's new and let's give him
the crowd got involved, didn't he, as well?
And the crowd got involved.
Every time he got the ball.
And he put the ball out of play a few times.
Yeah.
That's not going to help a team that's still trying to settle into its groove. So, I suppose, if Alisson's in goal there, you maybe start that game more commandingly.
more composed.
Yeah, because you're not giving the ball away as often. You're not conceding possession. That comes to control again, doesn't it? It's all the way through the park, through your centre-halves and in midfield, but also your keeper as well sets the pace of that.
Obviously, on Inside Liverpool, we're all open Liverpool fans. He was at Stamford Bridge on Saturday, broadcasting, though, to... not Liverpool fan TV. You had to remain neutral, didn't you? So how on earth did you find delivering that 96-minute winner?
I mean, saying to Ollie Klink, talkSPORT, Ollie Klink, sometimes you just get swept away with the moment, and you have to.
You have to give that moment the gravitas, right?
You just have to detach, And if you look at it as well, the kid's 18 years of age, and he scored his first goal in English football. I mean, it's quite a moment for Chelsea, and a big one for their season.
The Maresca celebrations while running down the top.
Also, exactly. Jose Mourinho.
The referee get booked for that?
I know. I've got to say, and I know the rules are the rules. Yeah. But do you not think, as a referee, if the referee didn't book Enzo Maresca there, it's not going to be back page news. Outrage, he doesn't get sent off. I thought to myself, let that one go. Are we trying to kill all emotion out of football? He's got a 96-minute win against the Premier League champions, and even I was a bit like,
what Liverpool fan in the right mind's going to want to see him get booked?
If
he didn't get booked, what Liverpool fans going to be saying he should be booked?
It's not going to be the Liverpool fans saying back up to Liverpool, is it, on the bus
we
after
had it with
the
Klopp,
game.
didn't we? You know what I mean? And the Derby one is the one that stands out, isn't it?
The Alisson
the
hug.
Origi one, the Alisson hug. I get why he's doing it, and he was apologising after. Look, I got caught up in the moment, and
that's
we got a lot of stick off the other fans, didn't we, for the fact that he celebrated like that, but. It's the heat of the moment. It's sport. It's professional sport.
You don't take emotion and passion out of football. We might as well just go home and not bother.
I think that you shouldn't be getting yellow cards for taking your shirt off.
I know.
It was obviously with Ekatike, and I was shouting, "Oh my God, what have you done?" But it's part of the game.
Yellow card offence?
I don't think it should be a yellow card.
Next up, then, so our next set of games before there's one more international break in November: Premier League, Man United at home, Brentford away. Villa at home.
And I think Eintracht Frankfurt.
City at home, and then in the Champions League, we've got two tough Champions League games. Frankfurt away, we got Madrid to come to Anfield as well, and then we got a Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace. United at home. Paul, you got a season ticket at Anfield. Do you think that game, you've been going to Anfield for many, many years, obviously we know United is struggling at the moment. Does that game still have that edge? Does it still feel as big going to that game as it did, let's say, maybe 5, 10, 20 years ago?
Always, yeah, but Man United fans are going to hate me for saying this. Nowadays, it's excitement because we know we're going to beat them, or we know how well we should be doing against them. Because I was at Old Trafford last season and Anfield for the home game as well, and I loved being at Old Trafford last season because we're on top and they're in a position we were in the 90s when they were winning everything and we were terrible and we were struggling and we weren't winning.
They ruined our childhood, didn't they?
And it took us 30 years, and I've said all along, I laugh and joke with people. I can't recall my mate who's a Red. All my arm mates from Manchester who are all Man United fans, you're just struggling, and I hope it continues. And that's exactly what you were like when we were struggling, when we were down and out, and when we weren't winning anything. It took us 30 years to win the Premier League, and it might take them the same amount of time. It's been a while now.
They're nearly halfway there.
It's been 14, 15 years now.
And that's almost because Liverpool are so settled, and they are a dominant force, and they're very intimidating, and you can beat teams before you get out of the tunnel. You've heard that old adage. But do you have the same confidence going into that United game? Because what's so interesting, I think, last year was we played them in January.
0-0, wasn't it?
No, 2-2.
That's when they scored that, yeah.
I remember that. You were there for it. So I'd be interested to see your reflections on that game because, United, who their run was very similar. They came to Anfield. They did a job on us. They scored early. We pulled one back. But they were the team that was sort of, on the cusp of winning that game. So do you still go into it with the same confidence given the season start, or is there still a, I
won't this time. I won't have that confidence this time because of how we've started, obviously. And listen, I'm not expecting much this season, and I haven't been since before the ball was kicked. And I'm not trying to be smart and make out like I'm knowledgeable. I'm not. I'm a fan. But I'm not expecting much this season because of the amount of changes that we've had. Obviously, Jota's a huge part of it. And the new manager is finally getting to do his own thing with a team, but he's obviously having to change a lot because the old team that won the league isn't the team that's there no more.
So this summer was the transitional summer, wasn't it?
100%.
Like last year was the handover, this year's the rebuild, isn't it?
But it was supposed to be transitional last season. It wasn't. We hit the ground running. We all had the season that none of us probably expected, and we absolutely had a ball, and it was great, and we won the league again. This season will be tough, I think, but back to what we were saying about United, like it's been that long since they've won the league, and I think a lot of us and a lot of Arsenal fans need to remember also it's been even longer for them. And winning the league, there's players in our team and there's players in our squad and there's players and there's staff on the whole setup that have won the league, and some of them have done it a couple of times. There's none really like that in the Arsenal setup.